We're live. This is so exciting. Yay. This is the first live episode of Theater Tuesdays that we've had. Very fun. And today we normally do our end of the month, me and Marin, where we talk about what we've been watching on the stage. But she had her mother pass away this last month, which is really, we send our deepest condolences. And so I reached out to Marc to see if he would come on and just kind of be my sounding board for this and talk about what I've been seeing and just chat about theater and news and all that fun stuff. So thank you so much, Marc, for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I'm always excited, always down for talking theater.
Yes. So did you have a good July?
Yeah. It was a quick July. It was very fast, but yeah, it was great.
Mm-hmm.
I got to interview Cinco Paul on my channel.
Yeah. That's so exciting.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
If people might not know, he is the creator of Schmigadoon. And what was the biggest thing you learned from talking to him?
There was so many. He told me so many things I'd never heard. Cut storylines and
he's from Utah.
He is from Utah. Yeah. So we'll see. He's got a show. He's hoping to come to Broadway soon. So
yeah, that's cool. That's really, really cool. There's been a lot of news in the Broadway world. We had the opening of Back to the Future. That was exciting.
Yeah, it started. I don't think it's opened yet.
Oh, is it officially? It's in previews?
I think it started
previews. Okay.
Yeah, I've lost the lottery for it every day. I'll see it eventually.
My friend Kristen, she saw it and absolutely loved it.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I like a good spectacle.
And then, of course, we have the news of New York closing. That I don't think anybody was super surprised by that, but I was surprised how quickly all of a sudden it was this weekend's the last.
Yeah,
July 31st, last show.
Yeah, they only gave a week's notice, which that's pretty quick. Usually, they give a couple months. But
yeah, did it surprise you at all? You've seen it, right?
I did see it. It didn't surprise me much. I mean, I thought their Tony's performance, I thought they came up really well, so I was a little bit surprised. But it's a very big show. It's a very expensive show. It's a very big theater. So. With not pulling in any awards, I think they pull in. Oh, it got best sets and maybe lighting or something else, but for the most part, nothing. And
but I was really impressed. We did our recap of the Tony Awards, and it made me laugh because I'm in the American Theater Critics Association, and in there every month they're like, this is what the members are doing and talking about and whatever. And in the wrap up, they were like, Rachel, theater critic member, had a member of the audience with her.
That's me.
$300. I was like, thank you, member of the audience.
Happy to be a member of the audience.
Like they really stretched themselves on that one. They couldn't the description.
That's so funny.
It was funny. But I still think that Tony will help them because they are doing a tour, and I think that did make an impression on a lot of people. They'll see it now.
Yeah, it ought to be interesting how the tour goes. I mean, they'll have to scale back a little bit on the sets, I would imagine. I mean, maybe it's a very big show.
Yeah. Have you heard about this one about Emile DeMarcus? I can't think of what it's called. They just Tim Leninger, he just reviewed it. Reasons for Love or something like that.
No.
It's Here Lies Love.
Oh, Here Lies Love. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He just reviewed it, and man, it sounds like the things they've done to that stage is crazy. He said that the whole bottom floor is standing.
Yeah, it's really wild. I saw the show off Broadway in 2010 or 11, some 12, 14, some a while ago.
Yeah.
But I was I haven't seen the Broadway version yet, but I was there for the filming of the B-roll for their commercial. So I've been on the set. I've been on this, to the stage, and yeah, you come in and the top of the seats are like the back of the set is like the mezzanine. And so, we're walking through, and my wife's pointing out like, oh, there's the proscenium of the stage, and you're just basically where we were sitting. We were on the stage proper. If you were to take out all that stuff, but yeah, it's really wild, and yeah, most of the audience stands for the show.
I can't think of anything worse. That I hate that going to those kind of clubs and stuff. Oh, where you're constantly having to stand.
And not only that,
not being able to sit down, that would be the worst.
They do have lots of seats where you can sit down.
Yeah, I mean, Leah Salonga is a legend. She's amazing, of course. So that would be worth it to me to go. I would stand for her. But,
yeah, it's 90 minutes. So it's not too long, but it's wild. And yeah, the stage little platforms move all throughout the building, so you get moved from different places in the theater. Yeah.
Yeah, and Tim just posted his review of The Cottage.
I am seeing that on next Wednesday, so I haven't looked into it at all. I'm waiting to see that.
I don't know. It just surprised me. Like, it's all about all these people cheating on their. It sounds like it's a pretty spicy musical.
It's a play.
Play.
It's a play. Yeah, I think it's like an old, slamming doors comedy. Again, I haven't looked too much into it because I try not to spoil things for myself, but it seems like an old-fashioned slamming doors comedy. Everyone's going into each other's bedrooms and mistaken identities probably, and it's got a good cast. I know the reviews were like 5 bad, 5 good, and 2 neutral. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I love Laura Bell Bundy so much. She's a favorite of mine. So that would be tempting just on that alone to see her because I love her so much.
I haven't seen her since Legally Blonde. I think
she came out to Utah and did a benefit concert for one of the theaters on Pitch Performing Arts. They did a concert, and it was you just donated however much you wanted to donate for the concert, and she was incredible. So of course. Yeah, it was really good. And so, I love her. Did you or know anybody who got to see the Britney Spears musical? The Once Upon a Time?
I have seen it twice.
Oh, so did you like it?
Twice. Did I like it? I liked it enough to sit through it a second time. I enjoyed it. It's fun. Like Bad Cinderella, I wouldn't sit through again. I saw the first time I saw Once Upon a One More Time, it was like the second or third preview. It was very, very early.
Okay.
So I was curious to see how they would fix some of the problems because I had heard they were actually doing big changes during previews. And I thought my 8-year-old daughter would really enjoy it. And my sister was in town as well, who is a big Britney Spears, she's a millennial, all that stuff. So I took them to see it. And they had a great time. It's fun. I think the concept is better than the show itself. It's a fun story, the way they work in the storybook characters.
Do you prefer jukebox musicals where there is a story, or do you prefer the ones about the actual musicians?
You know
what I'm saying?
Yeah. Either they're bio jukebox musical or like.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the most successful ones. For me, I mean,
because there's like Jersey Boys on one side.
Yeah, I feel like Jersey Boys is the gold standard. Yeah, I think like Jersey Boys and Ain't Too Proud, and I think MJ are the best of those. But I like Head Over Heels is still one of the better shows. This one, Mamma Mia. Well, Mamma Mia. I mean, obviously, it's one of the most popular, probably the most popular jukebox musical of all time. It's one of my least favorite properties of all time. So I'm not a Mamma Mia fan, but I can't deny that it works. It
Uh-huh.
obviously is a profitable and entity.
I I always say that Mamma Mia is the perfect movie to watch on a plane because it's just like no stress at all.
I've
There's
never
like
I've never watched the movie. I
oh, you ever watched
tried
the
one time,
movie?
but I worked it on Broadway, so I've sat through over
Oh.
1,600 performances of Mamma Mia. So I
Yeah,
was
that
on
would do
Mamma
it.
Mia for 4 years. So
That
yeah,
would
I've gotten my fill.
That's funny. I don't mind Mamma Mia. It's a lot. They stretch a lot. It's not the best, but it's like a little bit fun for me. But yeah. So this we have the chat room open and the super chat if anybody is so inclined. Uh, but the first one that I saw this month, this was the national tour of Les Mis that I saw,
Mm.
and it was an interesting experience. I am not a huge fan of this non-rotating stage version that came a couple of years ago. I mean, I'm always going to be a fan of Les Mis. I'm always going to love it on some level. It was the first musical I ever really loved after The Little Mermaid, and but I just think it robs so much. I
Mm.
don't understand why they made this change because you, especially during the barricade, it's so much less effective to have the non-rotating stage and only be able to see the backs of the characters.
Yeah, maybe they did it to save money. They have to put down a revolving stage wherever they go.
Yeah,
That's big
it's
money.
a, not nearly as good. Um, and but then what they did in this version that was so strange was instead of, and for the most part, I loved it and it was amazing. But what they did that was so odd is that for empty chairs and empty tables, they don't have any chairs or tables, and they have Marius stepping forward, and there's all these little like balls of light that I guess are supposed to be memories or something. And then they have the various characters who just died like step forward as if they're ghosts and take the little like balls of light, and then they like sing the song with him. It was so weird. Just,
Hmm.
what?
That is a choice.
That was the choice.
Wow, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, yeah, that's what they. It was
Huh.
very strange.
It is strange.
But all the and I did think that the guy playing Jean Valjean, he like crushed it all the way through Bring Him Home, and it was great. And then if you could almost feel that was like the kind of the end of his voice, and he
Oh,
sort of struggled after that, which makes sense because that song's incredibly difficult. But I could feel that a little bit.
oof. Well, at
But
least you got through that one.
yeah, but I mean, you'll never hear me saying that a production of Les Mis isn't great because it's one of those shows I just absolutely love. I know that the movie has flaws, but I still really enjoy it, and I just wish they kept the rotating stage. It was so much better,
Yeah, yeah, I hear you.
but it's still still fun. Um, I don't know. What's your history with Les Mis? Is it a favorite of yours, or how did you?
I didn't grow up with it certainly at all. I came into theater fairly late in life, as later than a lot of diehard theater fans did.
Yeah.
And I came in when doing mostly children's theater, so I mostly learned like the Rodgers and Hammerstein, Music Man, those kinds, the Rodgers and Hammerstein, Cinderella, and never really got into the Les Mis or the Phantoms till later. So
Yeah.
I actually never saw the original Les Mis on Broadway, even though I lived here at the time. It was running forever. I saw it. It was my first when I went to London for the first time. I was like, well, what's my first West End show going to be? Might as well have it be Les Mis. So I did see it in London, and I saw the third revival or the second revival in the city. So I enjoy it. For what it
Yeah.
is. I'm just not. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not an epic
Well, it's interesting because I am such a fan. I think I probably do nitpick a little bit more than the other people. I mean, probably 99% of the audience was like, "Oh, isn't that neat what they did with empty chairs, empty tables?" And I'm like, "Whoa!"
I mean,
So
yeah,
weird.
some things but like, so if season 3 of Schmigadoon dives into Les Mis and all those, I would have to do lots of research to get to bone up.
Yeah.
Because it's not a show I've memorized or anything. It's
I mean, it's one thing if the whole rest of your staging is really abstract and you've done but then just for one song to be
yeah.
like very weird.
Well,
But then I saw for UTBA, I saw the Music Man, and this was so fun. This is up in Heber, which is like 45 minutes south, kind of me, in the mountains. Midway actually, midway, and they have this outdoor theater that they do. You bring a chair, sit down. They have entertainment before, singers, things like that, and you get to watch a show, and it was so much fun. I actually saw it on July 4th, which was like a
ooh,
really
that would
cool
be really
day
fun.
to see Music Man. Yeah, and they were very talented, huge cast, real community spirit about it, which I always love. And I mean, I wish that they could get the new version out to community theater with the new Sadder but Wiser Girl, because I hate that song, and the new Shapoopy lyrics that they did for the the revival. They changed the lyrics.
Yes, they updated the lyrics. That was very controversial here at the time.
But I prefer it because it's still the same fun songs, but just a little bit more less cringe, and it makes because Sadder but Wiser Girl for me makes Harold really unlikable.
Yeah, well, he kind of is. That's kind of the point. He is an unlikable character. That's
Yeah.
it's the conundrum of Joey and Pal Joey and Harold Hill. These are unlikable people. So yeah, it's
So that was fun, and the woman playing Marion was absolutely outstanding. The Harold is good too, but it's such a hard part.
It is. It is
really tough.
It is indeed. Yeah, I love the Music Man.
Yes. Then I saw The Secret Garden out of production, and I've heard that they're doing a revival of Secret Garden this year.
They've been trying to do a revival for a long time now. There was a production out in LA recently.
Yeah, they did the tryout, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it went very well. There wasn't any big buzz of it moving immediately. I think it wasn't received. Because I knew it might come in, I didn't really pay attention. I know Emily Clark, another YouTube theater historian, saw it and was not thrilled. That's another show. That's another show that people really love. That I know some of the songs, and but I don't know the book or the story of Secret Garden. So that's a show that I've been meaning to learn. I like to see these shows. I don't like to just listen to them and read the scripts. I like to see them first. So I gotta wait for a production.
Well, this was an outstanding community production. I mean, the quality of the singing, the quality of the sets, the production, the lighting, the costumes, it's just unbelievable. Really good at Kaysville. It's the first time I've been there to that. It's just like Kaysville High School, and I was Kaysville Arts Council, but I was so impressed with everything about it. It has absolutely beautiful songs that have kind of a Les Mis kind of quality, that classic feel to it.
Yeah, it's very of that British invasion era.
Yeah, I mean
91.
And I don't know if they're working on this, but I think they could probably cut a lot. It's a little over long. And it really does depend on the quality of the child actors, because there's two in the lead with Mary and Colin. And so and they have, I mean, the Mary is in every scene, almost every scene of the show. So you really have to get a good child actor, which they did. The Colin in this particular one had a pretty strong lisp, so he was a little hard to understand. And I don't know if that was an acting choice or just the way.
A little Winthrop Peru mixed.
Yeah, it was. But it was still. I was so impressed. It was really good. And then I saw The Lion in Winter, which was new to me. I had never seen this play.
It's a heavy one.
Yes. And it's pretty cool because there's this theater, the Center Point Theater, and they are Center Point Legacy, it's called. And they are outstanding. The quality of the productions are just like so good. The singing, the dancing, but what they've done is they have this black box that they've added where they can do these more edgy stuff that like typical Utah, is not, I'm not going to be as interested in. So, it maybe has 35 seats. It's real small, this black box. And so it was very cool. There was this actress, Leslie Barrett, playing the Katharine Hepburn role, and Eleanor, and she was really good. All the acting was good. Some of the casting was a little strange to me because it felt like, okay, this person, they look the same age and they're supposed to be like really different ages. But they all were excellent, I thought, in their roles. The craziest thing though happened, and maybe this is old hat to people like, you've been to Broadway a lot, but this was the first time in my life I've been to a live theatrical performance and someone actually took a phone call in the middle of the show. I couldn't believe it.
Wow,
like I've had people take their phones a million times, but literally, in a small black box theater where there's only a few, for someone to literally take a vocal call, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff, fights and phone calls and stuff, especially working in the theater. I've seen lots of stuff, but yeah, in a small black box, that's terrible.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was wild. I was like, wow. And it was an older woman. It wasn't like a teenager.
Ugh. Yeah, it's always the older crowd that they don't know how to turn their phone. I swear they've never turned their phone off in their life. Yeah.
Then I saw Oklahoma, and this was at the Sierra Shell, which is an outdoor. They have an indoor theater during the rest of the year, and then in the summer they have the outdoor Shell theater.
So is this more of a traditional Oklahoma?
Yeah. It was a traditional Oklahoma. They was kind of fun though because the Lori and Curly were an actual married couple.
Oh,
which is fun.
I like that when that happens.
Yeah, and they were. I think the emphasis was definitely on the dancing most of all. It was excellent. They were all.
Did they play their own dream versions?
They had the whole ballet, the Dream Ballet. And
but were the lead actors the ones dancing it, or did they have a dream Lori and a dream Curly?
No, they were the ones.
They're the ones dancing.
Yeah. Well, especially her. There was a bunch of actors, but I think he was in most of it. I can't remember, but yeah, it was beautiful. She was. I looked at her bio, and most of it was dance. Right. So I think that was why she got the role. But the I Do Annie was really fun. She was very good, and I hadn't seen that show in a long time, so that was fun to see it.
Classic.
It's a darker show than you remember.
Oh yes. Did you see the revival?
I saw like the Tony performance, but I never got to see it. I would have loved to because I love Allie.
This is dark. They go. I mean, it was a fascinating revival because it was very dark. Very different, but they didn't change a word of dialogue.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
And then I saw Singing in the Rain. There's this, and I love Singing in the Rain. I mean, I love the movie, but I also love this adaptation of Singing in the Rain. It's so much fun. The rain sequence. I've probably seen Singing in the Rain live probably 10 times. I really love the show, and and this is a fun. I saw it at a place called Terrace Plaza, Beverly's Terrace Plaza Playhouse, and it's a really fun theater because it's not trying to be anything but a family, simple community. They're not trying to be Broadway. They're not trying to. They're just having a good time. Everybody, like it's not like the greatest singing and dancing you've ever seen. It's just really wholesome and really a good time. So, whatever you're going to see there is going to be enjoyable. And that's why it's the only thing that was so annoying watching this, because I love this show so much, is the guy next to me was clearly dragged there by his wife because he was so grumpy the whole time. He did not clap once. And I'm just
grumpy old man in a garbage can. Yeah. Come on now.
I feel like that's so rude. Like, it's one thing. I mean, I feel like the only reason I wouldn't clap is if I was like truly offended.
Yeah. You always clap, out of respect, and
at least do like the golf clap,
Yeah. Rude.
So rude. I'm like, why did you even come? Like,
what show was it?
It was for Singing in the Rain.
For Singing in the Rain was one of the funniest shows of all time. Jeepers creepers.
It was bizarre, but the Lena was particularly good in this. She was hilarious, and it's one of the better screen to stage adaptations, I think, because like a lot of, we've talked about this before, but a lot of those don't work. Like the Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, I do not care for.
Well, it's how you're going to talk about an avalanche. You got to talk about it. You can't show it. You just got to talk about an avalanche. It's a huge part of the story.
Right. Well, and they got rid of like a whole bunch of the songs from the movie, and they added new songs that aren't as good. It just was lame, I thought.
So of the 10 times you've seen Singing in the Rain live, how many of them did the Cosmo do the backflip on the wall?
Most of the time. I'm trying to remember if he did it this last time. He did a flip, but I think so on this last one. A couple times. Well, I mean, this technically is theater in the round, but they do have a wall area at Terrace. They did this place called Hale Center Theater, which is it's technically not equity, but it's equity like. I mean, the spectacle of the president of this are outstanding, and I think it's the best show that Hale's ever done. It was just absolutely incredible. But there's not really like a wall at Hale, so gotcha. I don't think they did it there. But he was incredible, very good. The guy who was Cosmo. I mean, it'd be fun if one of these like had totally different staging than the movies. Now that I've seen it so many times, it'd be fun if somebody didn't have the dummy, didn't have the sofa, didn't have and just did something totally different with scenes, or like for Good Morning, maybe staged it different and didn't just copy the movie. But I know that's me asking as someone who's seen it 10 times. 99% of people are going to want to come in and see what they saw from the movie. So.
Well, and you're also, if I was a choreographer or director, I'd be scared to try to top.
Oh yeah.
One of the greatest, the greatest movie musical of all time. So
it's true.
Yeah, it's a fine line.
I absolutely love that show. I just think it's so much fun. So then I also saw, at OPA, which is another really fun, education-focused community theater. When you go to OPA, you're not going to see like Broadway level. It's not Hale, it's not Centerpoint, it's not one of these. It's a little bit raw. It's a little bit, but I think that's part of the charm in a way. And my friend Caitlin Olsen, who's been on Theater Tuesdays, she was playing Emma, and she's honestly at a level in her acting and singing that's too good for OPA, but she's trying to. She's an inspiration, and helping a lot of these, and it's close by her where she lives, and She gets to mentor a ton of people, and she's so good. I 100% believe that she could be on Broadway. I saw her playing Elle Woods at OPA, Legally Blonde, and it was like body positivity casting, and she totally captured Elle Woods to me in a way I had never seen before. Her voice is so beautiful, and it was so refreshing to see the character I know so well and see it different.
Yeah, that is fun.
It was so cool. But anyway, so see Jekyll and Hyde, and it was fun.
Jekyll and Hyde, that was the show?
Yeah, so I saw Jekyll and Hyde there, and the Lucy was also really good, and they camped it up for Bring On the Men and things like that. They
did Bring On the Men.
They did. Yeah.
Oh, did they cut out Good and Evil then and do Bring On the Men?
I know they did Bring On the Men, but I can't remember. Yeah.
Good choice. I mean, it's because that wasn't in the Broadway version. That was in the pre-Broadway version. Bring On the Men. And they cut it for a number called Good and Evil.
Oh yeah, I think that's what they did. Yeah. But the only thing was they had, for some reason, they had the Jekyll / Hyde have this absolutely terrible wig that was so ugly. I hated it so much. And it was just like, it would have been a million times better just to have his regular hair. Like, there's no reason. It was like a mullet.
Did he do like
it looked like a mullet.
Did he do the hair flip thing during the transformation?
Yeah. It was awful. And he had a nice voice. Like it wasn't as good as Caitlin's, but it was a nice voice. But that wig, oh, it was awful. It was really bad.
Oh man.
So then I saw Dial In for Murder. This was my first time seeing this play. And I wasn't a big fan of it. I thought it was really dry. Because it takes the most interesting, because all the performances were excellent, but it takes so long to get to the inspector, who is by far the most fun, interesting character. Inspector Hubbard is his name. And I don't know if that's the case with the Hitchcock movie. I haven't seen it. But Inspector Hubbard is really fun, but he doesn't come until like pretty into the second act that you finally meet him. And so all of that, lead up to it is, whew. And also I didn't feel like Margot, so you have this character Margot who is her husband tries to murder her because she's having this affair, right? And this whole thing was in the 50s, and you would think that somebody that's like a socialite in the 1950s having an affair with an American, no less, because it's set in England, you'd have to be somebody with a little bit of moxie, a little bit of like, and she seemed so like mousy and so like, and then so I didn't think that really fit. Like she'd have to be a little bit, I don't know, edgier, I feel like.
Yeah, a little more brazen.
Yeah. So I wasn't a big fan of that, even though I thought the actors all did what they could with the role. I thought it was kind of a snooze. And then I saw The Little Mermaid. And this was fun because it was it's called the Pickleville Playhouse. And this is at Bear Lake, which is up towards Idaho. I was going up there for a swim race that I did. And they do two shows. They have one that's a parody show, which I don't like parody shows. So I wasn't interested in that. And I don't love The Little Mermaid Broadway. But, it was what they were doing. So I was like, okay. And they did a lot with it's a pretty small stage. And I guess it's a thing with that show to be on roller skates. I didn't realize that.
That's what the original Broadway was on those Heelys.
Yeah, they were in the Heelys and also on like scooter type things, and that was effective, and the costumes were really good. I just think this adaptation is very stupid.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it on Broadway when I saw the adaptation.
Like, why did they have Flounder is in love with Ariel? That's weird.
Ew, what?
That's a weird choice. And then to have, I think, Ursula and Triton be siblings is such a groaner. It's so stupid.
Yeah,
that's not their fault. but
the original movie didn't need it.
No, didn't need it. And so I think they did what they could, and they had a very talented cast. It's not equity, I don't think, but it was equity quality. My friend, it actually does the sound for Pickleball Playhouse, which is part of the reason why I went. And she told me that I guess they auditioned 350 people for 15 roles.
Wow.
Yeah. For the summer.
Yeah. Hard out there for actors everywhere. Yeah. Jeepers creepers.
Yeah, but they were really good. They were very good. So that was fun, and I think that was everything that I saw. Well, I saw this local production called The Principal Wife, and that's an original. It's an original musical, and it was very strange. I think there's talent there. There's some decent songs. I went as a guest for the lead actor. Ethan Kelso's his name, and I think he is really good. He has a beautiful voice. He's talented, but it was just odd because, like, normally here in Utah, like, Latter-day Saints are really reticent to talk about polygamy. Like, it's usually not something that's, and this was like, it felt like a propaganda play for polygamy. Like, it was very like
pro polygamy.
Yes. And then in the description, the director was in the thing, director saying, this is a story that desperately needs to be told about this man and his 3 wives. And I was just, why does this desperately need to be told? Like, why do we need this like kind of fluff piece about, and I was talking to a friend, and they're like, what we think they were trying to do is like a kind of like a Mormon version of Fiddler on the Roof. It was kind of what they were trying to do, but Fiddler on the Roof isn't really trying to sort of sell you on the lifestyle or the religion. It's just telling Tevye's story and, you know, his daughter's choices and, you know, and their thing. I would never call Fiddler on the Roof a propaganda play.
No,
because it's not. And in this, it was just like, they were really trying to sell that this was like, I don't know, a good thing. It was weird. I was just gonna, that was strange.
Interesting.
But you know, it's always interesting when you see something that's clearly being workshopped.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting experience.
I bet. That's one for the books, certainly.
Yeah.
They're so universal.
Yeah, that's what I think. And also this thing was, and Fiddler is really, really, really long, but this thing was way too long. It needs like a good 45 minutes. It was over 3 hours long.
Ooh.
That was brutal.
An hour for each wife?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And there was this whole like side story about this soldier who's in love with the first wife, the principal wife, and he tries to like save her and rescue her. And at one point, she's about to get on the train, and then the the husband comes and he's like, "Don't leave," you know. I was just like, "What?" It was very interesting. But you know, you got to take some chances.
Hey, you never know.
You never know. That's right. So that is everything that I saw.
Is that all?
That's all.
Slacker, Rachel. My goodness.
Yes.
My goodness. Jeepers creepers.
And I would say probably, I mean, of the shows, of the productions that I saw, what would be my favorite? Probably the music band was really good. Maybe that. It was really fun on 4th of July to see. The only thing that I didn't love the backtrack that they were using. It was very synthetic, which is like really distracting, especially for that show.
Yeah.
And I just wish they'd gotten a better backtrack, but it was still a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love that show.
Yeah, so there we go.
Wow.
Do you have any plans to see anything coming up?
I'm seeing, like I said, I've seen The Cottage a
Mm.
week from tomorrow. I'm excited for that. I need to see. Here's Lies Love. I have tickets for September. What else do I need to see? I feel like there's Back to the Future is the one I need to see. But other than that, I think I'm pretty caught up. When I try to see everything before the Tonys or around Tony time.
Yeah.
So I don't think
Is there
so.
anything new coming, or has everything got at least improved?
I mean, everything sort of starts, in October, September, October. So like there's this new play called The Shark is Broken. I'm sort of waiting to hear what word of mouth on that is like. That's about like the making of Jaws.
Oh.
The one of the actors, Robert Shaw, his son wrote it and is starring in it as his father. And it's a 3-person play. And Alex Brightman from Beetlejuice is playing Richard Dreyfuss, and Colin Donnell, I think, is playing Roy Schneider.
I saw the ad for the new one with Josh Gad and
Oh yeah, Gutenberg and Andrew Rannells, Gutenberg the musical. That's a show that has been around for a long time. It was off Broadway years and years ago, and it's sort of just been around and around, and one I've always heard about, and it's finally going up. And I saw those two guys in Mormon a couple times back in the day, and they're a great team. So I'm very excited. 2-person show where they play all the characters. That sounds fun.
Yeah, I'm really. I mean, I probably won't get to see it because I'm just lost my job. But hopefully someday I will. But I am seeing a lot coming up. I am reviewing for UTBA. I'm reviewing West Side Story at West Valley Performing Arts. That was another one that I saw in June. I saw at West Valley Performing Arts. I saw the play Puffs. Was not a fan.
Now, are you a Harry Potter person?
I'm not that much of a Harry Potter person. And so I think that's partly why also I felt like so much of the jokes, and this is usually a problem with me with parody, most of the jokes I thought looks like jokes. It looks like something from Harry Potter as opposed to actually being a joke. It just looks like a joke.
Gotcha.
And so I actually left at intermission. I was like, this is just not for me. I'm just not enjoying it.
Tough pass.
Yeah, I did not. It wasn't. But I do love this theater. They're great. So I'm excited to see West Side Story there. And then I'm seeing Beauty and the Beast at Terrace Plaza, where I saw Singing in the Rain, on Friday, which is, I love that show. I have huge nostalgia for that show. I saw it with my grandma and my cousin. The same trip that I saw the revival of Music Man with Rebecca Luker. I also saw the Beauty and the Beast. So
nice.
And I saw the Rockettes. And then I'm seeing Romeo and Juliet. So it's like Romeo and Juliet weekend because I'm seeing West Side Story and Romeo and Juliet.
That's true. That'll be nice.
And we're having our UTBA training that day, and then it's this awesome theater called the Parker Theater, which is in Salt Lake. It's this restored Art Deco, great theater, and they literally think of everything. They always have snacks that are within theme of whatever they're doing. Like they had scones they did this incredible thing with Emma, incredible play of Emma. And they had scones and clotted cream and they just did Pirates of Penzance, and that was really fun. And they're amazing. They always do a Shakespeare every summer. They did Hamlet last year, and it blew my mind. And then I'm seeing Music Man again.
Again.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we're reviewing it again for you today. And then next week on the 9th, I am seeing Beetlejuice again. I've seen it once before on Broadway, but I'm seeing the national tour. So it'll be interesting to see, because that was another show that like the production, because the songs for me at least were like fine, but it was the production that was so incredible. So I'm curious to see how they bring that to the national tour.
Yeah, I bet it's the Broadway set. I bet it's everything just packaged up and put right on the road.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, yeah, I'm seeing that. That should be fun. So lots going on, lots of busyness. But,
yeah, my goodness. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't have much show-wise coming up until I win some lotteries. But yeah, that's exciting. I wish. I mean, I get Broadway and off-Broadway here, but like you don't get to go out and see The Music Man or all these. They don't, unless there's a big revival of it. They don't really do.
It's nice because you have like permanent residencies. So if you have something you like, you can go and see it over and over and over and over again. Like,
yeah.
And I have a personality that I never tire of things. If it's something I like, I could see it. I could literally see it every single day and I would be fine. I mean, I think that's why I can watch 130 Christmas movies every year, or I can watch the same Hallmark movie over and over again. That's just the way my brain works. But so that's nice about over there. But sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish that these, like that Secret Garden was only for 2 weekends. I'm like, oh, so few people got to enjoy it. It was so good. So it kind of breaks my heart a little bit, but and you wish that it was around longer. But yeah, I was actually talking to somebody about UTBA, and they were saying that that the difference between writing film criticism, one difference between writing film criticism and writing theater criticism, is that most people who read your theater criticism are never going to have the experience that you had. Yeah. You're never going to get to see what you saw. Whereas everybody can pretty much see a film, that's out there. I never thought about it that way. And I thought that was
very true. Very true.
So, yeah, so kind of made me, because it's challenging. I writing the review for Dial for Murder, because I know the cast and it's just I know they tried. It was not their fault. It just was a boring play.
Yeah. Well, if it's a material thing, what can you do?
Yeah, exactly. So there we go. Well, thank you so much for coming and doing this.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime. Sorry I didn't contribute more. I'm sorry. I'll make sure I'll see more next time. Next time we schedule one, I'll go see a bunch of stuff for you.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'll keep an eye on your Instagram and stuff to see when you get to hopefully see some of these shows, and then we'll have you back, because I'm living vicariously through you right now.
Yeah, there you go.
So if people want to follow you, like you said, you just had your interview with St. Paul, all that. How do they do that?
Yeah, just go to YouTube and search for me at Broadway by Ghostlight or B-Way Ghostlight on social media. Yeah, I just released the Cinco Paul interview. I'm working on a video for breaking down an Annie sequel that exists. And then I'll be doing some Chris Catelli season 1 Schmigadoon breakdowns dance-wise soon. And
are you going to see Theater Camp?
I want to. I wondered. I watched the trailers and I'm like, is it like am I too old? Is it not going to be my theater type jokes? But we'll see. I do want to.
I thought it was funny. I enjoyed it.
I really want to see it. I've never seen Camp. There's that other one too from years ago called Camp. I've never seen that either.
That one probably has. That Camp probably has better singing. I mean, and the singing is good in Theater Camp, but it was fun. It's been fun because I've actually become, through Hallmark, I've become friends with Mary Lou Henner. Random, but we've actually become friends. We're kind of texting buddies over the years, and her son is the director of Theater Camp.
Oh wow!
So it's like kind of been a unique experience for me. And when I finished the, what do you think? And I'm like, it was really good. Thank goodness. I loved it.
I saw her in what was it called? It was very short-lived on Broadway. Getting the band back together.
Yeah, because she did Moses Off. She was in the original Grease, like even before it was a musical, like very original.
Ooh, in Chicago.
Yeah. So
The dirty version.
And she's amazing. She has like one of the most like powerful memories of anybody in the world. She can remember like the most minute details from any. There's like I think less than 30 people who are able to do.
Wow,
really great.
That's crazy.
And she's been in she's in the Aurora Tea Garden movies for Hallmark with Candace and before Candace left. So she was in like 17 or 18 of those. So yeah, a lot. And some other ones too. But anyway, she's great. And she's in the new Haunted Mansion, which was
my 8-year-old saw it and enjoyed it. My mom thought it was okay.
I was so bored. I was struggling.
It looked so good too.
I know. I don't know. It was rough. It was a rough set.
Boo.
Really boring. But anyway. All right. Well, yeah, let us all know if you're watching what you think of all the things we talked about. Love to hear your thoughts. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. And you can find Rachel's Reviews Theater.com. So check out that. And especially my Instagram is the place to be as far as my theater reactions. After I see any show, I always do a little theater reaction of what I thought, movie or live theater. So make sure you're following me on Instagram. And we have the Patreon group and merch store. Check that out. And thanks again. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.